Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Amaka and welcome to our first question and answer session with Medhub Online. I'm excited. And over here, I'll be answering questions straight from our Instagram community. So sit back and, learn one or two things. Our first question is someone said, if I test positive to HPV, does that mean I'll develop cervical cancer? No. If you test positive to HPV, it doesn't mean you will develop cervical cancer. Matter of fact, almost everybody would get infected with this virus, but a lot of people, most people would clear the infection. Cervical cancer is a result of long-standing HPV infection. That's why it's so important that you have to do your pap smear every 3 years, or you do your pap smear every 5 years if you do it along with HPV screening. There are different types of the HPV virus. You have the ones that cause cancers and you have the ones that cause warts. So also the type of strain you were infected with is also important. For the cancer causing types, there are two strains that are very aggressive and very common. That is the 16 and 18. So to answer your question, no. You testing positive to HPV doesn't mean you will develop cervical cancer. Cervical cancer is a result of long-standing decades of HPV infection. Don't forget that first there is a HPV infection for a long time, and then this infection starts to cause changes in the cells in the cervix, and then these changes now graduate to cervical cancer after a long period of time. That's why pap smear is so important regularly. Please, 3 years or every 5 years if you do it along with HPV screening. I guess I was able to answer your question. The next question is, there are different types of HPV vaccine. Why and which do you recommend? Yes, there are different types of HPV vaccine: the bivalent, quadrivalent, and monovalent. The bivalent just focuses on cervical cancer, and the two strains that are very aggressive and very common to cause cervical cancer. That's all. While the quadrivalent now extends beyond cervical cancer to genital warts. So the quadrivalent covers four strains: the two most common, the two most aggressive cervical cancer strains, and the two most common strains that cause genital warts. And you have the non-avalent. The non-avalent covers for cervical cancer and genital warts, but this time goes beyond just two most aggressive strains that cause cervical cancer to other strains of HPV that could cause cervical cancer. So it offers a very broad coverage. So that is the one I recommend, the non-avalent. And I want to say this, that the HPV vaccination has been incorporated into the Nigerian immunization scheme. We give these vaccines to girls aged 9 to 14 before sexual exposure. So our advice, you give it at 9, because these days 14-year-old might already be exposed to sex. So the earlier you give it, the better. So between 9 and 14, and it is free. Yes, HPV vaccines are free in all primary health centers nationwide. Next, someone said, saw your video saying AS can marry. You shouldn't say that as a doctor. Don't support fasting. I'm not supporting anything that's bad. I'm just saying the truth. Couples who are AS can get married. They don't have to break up. Previously, it was often seen as a dead end in a relationship, but it's not like that anymore. That's not the case anymore. The world has evolved. Medicine has evolved. They can do IVF. I said it before, and I'll say it again. They can get married and have kids who are in SS. Yes. They can do IVF. With IVF, you get to choose the genotype of the embryos before the embryos are implanted, or before the embryo is implanted into the mother. So yes, they can get married. Also, they can choose to adopt. Do you understand? Adoption will give you the opportunity to experience the joys of parenthood. A child doesn't have to come from a loins before you feel like a parent. No, adoption is obviously an option, especially for couples who can't afford IVF. IVF is expensive. So if they can't afford IVF, they can adopt a child. While some couples may not want to have kids, so they can choose not to have children, or they can choose to break up. So breaking up is an option, but it's not the only option. It is not a dead end. So I will say it again, that AS couples can get married. And it's important to note that with each pregnancy, there's a 25% chance the the baby would be SS, 25% chance the baby will be AA, and a 50% chance that the baby is AS. But this is random, and you don't have control over it. So yes, AS couples can get married, and I'll say it again and again. There are ways around it now. Okay, so next, someone said my fiancé has the inactive hepatitis B virus and says she can't transmit it. Okay, she can't transmit it, just that it's really low. So the inactive hepatitis B infection means that the virus is not actively replicating, meaning that it's not multiplying in her. So her counts aren't high. So the chances of her transmitting it is low because she has a low viral count. But that doesn't mean she can't transmit it because she does have the infection. So it's not zero. As opposed to when the virus is actively multiplying in someone, and we say the person has a high viral count, so that person is highly infectious. So your fiancé can transmit it, just that the chances of her transmitting it is reduced. That's all. Okay, welcome to the end of our first question and answer session. I hope you had a nice time. I hope you learned. And until next time, take care of yourself, stay healthy, and like, share, and hit the subscribe button.